Hello, good evening. Welcome to Business Live. My name is Darryl Kwao. Coming up tonight, an exclusive interview with Registry General Jemima Owari as the department extends deadline for filing of annual returns. Public Services Workers Union of TUC kicks against proposed strategic partnership of Ghana Airport Company Limited with a Turkish investor, which they claim sees a total of 66% shares to the new company. And Industrial and Commercial Workers Union pushes for payment of ex-staff of collapsed microfinance and savings and loans companies. We'll bring you the details right after this break. Do stay with us. Tonight, the Registry General's Department has taken a number of steps to ensure flexibility in its operations as the country tackles the COVID-19 pandemic. For instance, it has extended the deadline for all category of companies to file annual returns by an additional 6 months, with the new date being the end of December. Now, the Registry General also waived proposed increase in penalty for delayed filings that were initially proposed. Now, joining me with more on what you need to know about the changes and other matters is the Registry General herself, Mrs. Jemima Owari. Great to have you tonight on Business Live.
Thank you.
Okay, so every institution has had to adapt to the new normal. Tell us how COVID-19 pandemic has affected the way the Registry General's Department works.
Well, for one, we never used to have people having to sit outside and wait in a queue like in social distancing, having to wash their hands and having to use sanitizers or have their temperature taken before they can even enter into our offices. And once they even enter into our offices, having to sit apart and ensuring that they don't touch anybody, everybody having to wear a mask before they are attended to. That definitely has changed the way of doing business.
Okay, and so during these times, we are seeing that most institutions are switching onto virtual platforms. Are you doing the same?
Most often, people still use our online platforms. With regard to approvals, all the lawyers can work from home. But when it gets to payments, the online payment platform is still being worked on. And so they could start the process online, but have to come here and pay. And so that is still a challenge. But we are trusting before the end of the year, our developers will give us a more convenient way of paying our applications as they use the online platform. That is at best how much of virtual we are using.
So you have announced a few measures to enable some flexibility during the pandemic. For instance, the extension of the deadline for filing of annual returns. Run us through some of the changes that you have made. Initially,
we were supposed to have been filing annual returns by the end of June 30th. Then due to the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, we were just realizing how it was almost impossible for our businesses to hold their annual general meetings. So we came out with a communique, our first directive, that under the New Companies Act, businesses could hold virtual annual general meetings because it was just almost impossible for them to meet because of the social distancing, problem that had come up. So we extended it to July 30th. Only to realize that it's still spreading, the pandemic is still spreading, and we realize that most workplaces have their staff contracting the virus. And so it's becoming more dangerous for us to operate at the same steam that we were operating before. Now, because we gave a deadline of 31st of July, as well as a penalty being increased in August, clearly, our offices were flooded with people trying to beat the deadline. As you know, most Ghanaians always wait till last minute. And looking at the danger of getting our staff either contracting the disease or even our own clients also contracting the disease, I thought it was prudent for me, first of all, to do away with the penalty. And the penalty of 400 is still there. But that increase of just 50 Ghana cedis to 400, that's already there. It's not worth it of getting people contracting a disease because of 50 Ghana cedis increase. So I took that one away. And then I also extended it further to December 31st to enable all businesses that were not for any reason able to hold their AGMs virtually, hold it within whatever period they can between now and December, and then try and file their annual returns by then. What it means then is that businesses or companies can now file their 2019 returns for 2020 in December, as well as those who have already got financial statements ready to be able to file 2020 for 2021, can also file it in December of 2020. I mean, I've given them that laxity.
That's great. I mean, for anybody who falls within this. Now, you also cautioned against mobile money payments and against registration agents visiting homes and offices. How prevalent is this?
In fact, had you not started the LPMs, I think it was going on rampantly. Now our clients are becoming more aware of the threat of these guru boys calling them up, given the implication that they are calling them from my office. They claim that they are from my legal department. They claim they are from the audit department. They've actually given me a unit called the cancellation unit. And then they claim I have a Momo account number. They direct my clients to pay monies to this Momo account number. What amazes me is when I, the legal one, ask them to come and renew their businesses, they won't come and renew it. And they'll believe these Goro boys who ask them to pay as much as 480,000, and you find them paying monies into some strange Momo account numbers. So please, I'm using this opportunity. Nobody should be hoodwinked by them. We have put out notices. If you want to renew your business, please do that yourself. At our on-site bank or any Fidelity bank, you can renew your businesses over there. And do not be moved by anybody. No staff member of mine has been mandated to call up people to renew their business. Otherwise, your businesses will be stricken off the register. Please, don't be moved by that.
Okay. Well, just as I was coming on the air, somebody just prompted me, with issues concerning the Momo payments, that it's only Fidelity Bank they have to pay to. Wouldn't you want to explore other avenues of payment?
When our online platform is fixed, it's going to be far easier to pay online from wherever you are. We're going to be part of the Ghana.gov online platform, and that's far, far easier for you to pay for our services online. I'm giving you an assurance that before the end of the year, we will have that one fixed so that you don't have to go through all these challenging times of paying for our services.
Okay, you talk about challenging times, and we've seen how the COVID-19 pandemic is disrupting economic activities. I just want to find out from you, during this period, are you seeing more people registering businesses? What's it like?
The government gave the NBSSI an opportunity to give out loans to SMEs and MSMEs. So, of course, this was between, I think, the month of May to about June ending. So my offices were flooded with, those in the informal sector trying to formalize the operations to enable them access the loans. Now that has come to an end. The next one was when I came up with my notices of people having to renew their businesses renew their companies or file their returns before July 31st. That also, of course, meant a lot of people were flooding the offices. And I have now removed that deadline. That it's no more 31st July. It's now 31st December. I've also removed the extra 50 Ghana cedis on the penalty to allow people to come and register their businesses, come and file their returns, do business with us in a more, a non-rushed manner. But please, I'll still insist they should still go ahead and file, because Mrs. Owai has given this dispensation. But going on to next year, it's not going to be like that. It will change. So I will just give you an opportunity. Don't take the dispensation to mean you will not file your returns and then you just sit at home and wait till the end of December, then you are rushing here all over again. I will not extend it again. But let me add this. I've also added a coupon system. I think you read from my notice, yes. Yeah. To enable me handle a lesser number of people each day, I've introduced a coupon system. So from Wednesday, today is the Today is the 17th, 13th. Okay. So from Wednesday, the 15th of July, everybody coming to my office to access our services from the front end, from our front offices, will be given a number. I'll be serving 200 customers each day, pending, me changing this as we go on. I don't know how it will pan out, but clearly when you have a coupon to be served, say from Wednesday to Thursday, and you are not served on that day, you can always come back to the office with your coupon and then continue from wherever you left for the last time, and you will be served. But I can't have the offices flooded with 300, 400, 500 people and, just making the situation even worse. So that is how it's going to be from Wednesday onwards until we change, the mode of doing business.
Okay, and I think that is fantastic, especially during this time that we are dealing with the pandemic. You don't want to entertain crowds. And so for those who are still not certain how they can register their business operations, what are the processes they are to follow now if they would like to register their businesses?
You can start off from our website. Our website is www.rgd.gov.gh. You can download all our forms from there. We have 6 types of business registration. And for a business name, you can download what we call a Form A. And you should be sure of your name, of course, because you can do a search from the same website, a free search of our business names that can be allowed. You still have the price though that's final approval for a business name still lies with the registrar. Once you get your name, and you should have a digital address, our system is now linked up electronically with the metropolitan assemblies to give you a business operating permit. You should have a tax identification number. We are linked on a common platform with Ghana Revenue Authority. So once you have those unique numbers or IDs of a form, you just have to fill the name, your objects, where your business will operate from, and then you sign it. That's for a business name. It's just 60 Ghana cedis. Please don't let anybody hoodwink you to be paying 200 and 300 and 400. It's just 60 Ghana cedis to register a business name. A limited liability, of course, the forms are also there. You need regulations, you need Form 3 and you need Form 4. What I'm saying right now, clearly, is going to change, Daryl, within a very short time. We've passed the New Companies Act.
Yes.
And that definitely is going to change the way of doing business in Ghana. You will not need regulations and Form 3 and Form 4 anymore. We are now going to come out with one form that contains every information we'll need to register you. And you just need a constitution this time. If you want a constitution, that is. If you don't want a constitution, we have schedules that are prototypes of a constitution that any company should have. That definitely is going to be happening by August. And so I'll come out with more information for businesses.
Okay.
It's going to change now. You will need a company. All the directors have to swear to a statutory declaration. They also have to consent to be directors of a company. They have to swear to a declaration that they have not caused any company to have gone into insolvency or liquidation in the past 5 years. They should not have been committed of any fraud. These are very, very, very strenuous requirements that we're going to be asking of directors. The secretaries can no more be anybody at all being a secretary. You must have a tertiary or professional qualification. You must actually swear to this fact that you have that kind of qualification. Otherwise, you cannot be a secretary of a company. All I'm trying to say is that it's going to be very, very stringent to run or to operate a company. And so if you are not interested in that, do not force to register a company. You can register a business name. It doesn't take much to register a business name. You can register a partnership. It doesn't take much. But when you want to register a company with all the rigorous requirements, filing of returns, appointing auditors, appointing secretary that has to have a certain qualification, and all that goes with it, I'd advise that you should really, really want to register one before you go for it.
And it's good that you brought up the New Companies Act, because one of the things we did was to solicit the views of some people in anticipation of our conversation with you. And one of the things you brought up is the fact that they feel that it is a disincentive to them because the New Companies Act, because of the financial reporting system, they claim they don't have the financial muscle to hire professional accountants and auditors to prepare their accounts. How do you respond to them?
Two things. It's not by force that you should register a company. I mean, we have other modes or other types of registrations, as I said. So if it's too rigorous for you, the reporting requirements are just too rigorous for you, you can start off as a business name. And a business name is also another good way of running your business. You are your own master. You make your profits yourself. You make your losses yourself. All you need to do is renew your business name at the end of the year. And that is just 25 Ghana cedis. It's not too expensive to run a business name. But you can start with that. Then as you move on, as you get a hang of the business and you want to move into the deeper waters of running a company, the Companies Act has given the Minister of Justice to come out with legislative instruments to actually come out with regulations on how SMEs can operate under this new act, where the formalities would have been dropped a bit for the small, medium enterprise companies. So we'll come out with that, where the formalities will be dropped a bit. Maybe you might not need the big five to audit your accounts and, charge you so much. There could be other auditors down the line that could do that kind of formality for you without it being so expensive. But all I'm saying is you don't necessarily have to register a company if you don't understand the requirements or if you don't have the various personnel to run it. You don't. We have partnerships.
Right.
Partnerships are easy to run. Yes, it's 2 to 20 people can form a partnership. The same. You don't need an auditor to audit accounts of a partnership for you. You, the partners, can do your own auditing because most of them are auditing firms anyway. You don't need a secretary to run a partnership for you. You just need to file your partnership, renew your partnership at the end of the year. And then, it's far easier to manage. But if you really want to register a company, then you must be ready for it. That's what I'll tell them.
Right. So recently you announced a cleanup of the Register of Businesses. How successful have you been at that exercise?
Well, I put out the notice, I think, the end of June. So if you can go onto my website, go to news, and then go down to dormant companies. I have a whole list of businesses there that I'm going to start the strike off. I'm not going to strike them off straight away. No, I will not. I've given an opportunity. I've put it out there. If you are seriously doing business in Ghana, come back and let me know. Come back to me. Come back by filing your annual returns. Come back by writing to me that I'm not interested in operating anymore. Take me off the register voluntarily. I've given you that opportunity. After 2 months, I'm going to review whatever I put out there. Those who have complied and come back to us, I'll not put their names out again. I'll come out with a new list. And that new list will give you another 2 months. After that 2 months, if I check and you are still there and you haven't come back to me, I'll put out a list again. And that should take me over 3 months. After 3 months, then I will start the strike off. So I'm still on course, Daryl.
All right.
I am still on course.
Yes, and a good job at that. So you were appointed receiver for some defunct fund management firms. What is the update on that one as well in terms of the liquidation process?
You know very well that SEC didn't have provisions for appointing an official liquidator outright. I was petitioned to have these various fund management companies whose licenses had been withdrawn to be, at least I was made aware of the fact that their licenses had been withdrawn. In that light, they are not being able to pay for their debts as it fell due. I petitioned the courts to have them formally wound up. I have been able to receive so far 7 orders to wind up some of these fund management companies. The process is still ongoing in the courts, and I'm trusting that many more orders will be drawn up. And it is then that I can really start the liquidation process. So I have gazetted 3 currently, and to get the whole world to know that they are going to be wound up through official liquidation. So once I get the other orders drawn up, I'll gazette it and I'll start the process.
Okay.
The important thing is that there are various assets are under lockdown. So they haven't been dissipated as yet, as it was in the DKM scenario, where by the time I was appointed as official liquidator, all the assets had been dissipated. This time around, we were able at least to get the offices locked up. So once I get the orders gazetted, I'll start the process of winding them up. And I trust with the help of government, we can be able to sort out the creditors as expeditiously as we can. Those who are fighting me in court, I'd advise that they shouldn't fight too much, because this is not the time to be fighting. If you cannot see to paying off your creditors, and they are in dire straits, and we can help by upfront helping these creditors out, and then later on disposing of the assets to pay back any funding that government could give to us, I'd advise them to do that, because they are going through stress. They are going through stress. There's no point dragging this thing. You were not able to pay them when the time was due.
Right.
Yeah. So why do you get them all stressed up and fighting all over the place and forming all sorts of groups and threatening everybody? I mean, if you can pay them, why don't you pay them? That's my point.
Thank you so much for your time with us tonight. I have so many questions, but we have run out of time, unfortunately. But it was a pleasure to have you on our program, Business Live. We hope to speak soon. Thank you so much, Jemima Owari. She is the Registry General. We appreciate it. And that's our program tonight. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. You can get more on our top stories to do with the receiver promising to pay ex-staff of defunct microfinance companies. And of course, what the Public Sector Workers Union is saying about plans to partner a Turkish firm with regards to the operations of the Kotoka International Airport. That's Business Live tonight. My name is Darryl Carl. Thanks for watching.